1 in every 7 people in the state of Maine is now unemployed. That's all thanks to Governor Janet Mills, who doesn't care at all. She's just ordered the state to remain closed indefinitely. Rick Savage has had enough of this. He owns a restaurant in Bethel, Maine. He says he's opening up tomorrow, and he's daring the state to stop him. Rick Savage joins us tonight. Rick, good to have you on.
Thank you,
I should just say at the outset that during the course of this last couple of months, you gave away over 10,000 meals to people in your community for free, so it's not like you're not engaged with the people around you. You are. You're planning to open up tomorrow. That's illegal in the state of Maine. Why are you doing it? What do you think will happen?
Well, the order originally started, it was May 1st, so we were gearing up for that. We did what we were supposed to do. We closed for 6 weeks. We cooked for the community. We went right through our whole restaurant, remodeled it, cleaned it, and it's time to open back up. We've gone throughout other parts of Maine. People are everywhere. I've got a restaurant that seats 250 people inside, a deck that seats 100, a 2,200 square foot patio. So I could put people at 6-foot space and everywhere and get open back up for business. So if each person does that in the state of Maine and tailors their business for what works, and people feel comfortable coming in, come in. If they don't feel comfortable, call us and we'll deliver it to your car. If you want to go sit on the deck, sit on the deck. You know, we've tried to call the governor. You can't even get a hold of them. The lawmakers are left in the dark, both Republicans and Democrats. She's doing this all rogue on her own. So we've had enough of it. We're encouraging all businesses in Maine to open up. We should have never been shut down in the first place. We need to open back up, get this summer tourist business going, or we're going to lose 1/3 of our restaurants. Who knows how many motels and other businesses. So we're advocating for everybody, not just for my restaurant. It's time to go back to work. If people don't want to go out, quarantine yourself. We're a very clean restaurant. I got one of the cleanest restaurants in the state of Maine. And I'm going to challenge the state to come and see, you know, hey, this is what we're doing. If you don't like it, take me to court. And then if they do take me to court, I'll save my tax money that I collect this month, and I'll use that to fund a lawyer.
So last time I checked, you're in Oxford County, Maine. I don't think there are any coronavirus deaths in Oxford County, Maine. It's a state really comprised of small businesses which are dying, as you just pointed out. So I understand why you're doing this. What do you think the authorities, Janet Mills, will do? I mean, you're admitting this on television. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
I don't think anything's going to happen because she's over her head. She's not consulting the experts. She's just doing this to break our state even more than we are right now. We're broke. We were broke before this. She spent our rainy day fund 2 months into being in office. So she's trying to get federal money from the government to bail her out. So if she makes the state look like we're broke, she's going to get more federal money, and she doesn't care about the people in the state of Maine. If she did, she'd be reaching out to these businesses. I told them, when this first happened, I said, I called the lawmakers and I said, if you guys gave us back the tax money that we collected for you, the 8%, for January, February, and you suspend March, we could all get through this, and it would be really easy for you guys to do. You know the restaurants that are open in Maine, the summer business is not even here. They're not even open. So it's been really easy. They already had those numbers. We sent them the money. Never heard back from them. Matter of fact, I got a letter a couple weeks ago that said, don't forget, you still owe March's sales tax.
Ah, come on. Janet Mills is the most incompetent, dictatorial, self-involved governor I have seen in a long time. You know, Godspeed, Rick Savage. Good luck tomorrow, truly. I hope you'll tell us how it goes. Good to see you.
I really appreciate Tucker coming on, and I hope all these restaurants will be able to open. And one further thing, I would love to share Janet Mills' cell phone number with everybody so they could give her a call directly, because she's got all the phones shut down. You can't even call. It goes to voicemail. The lawmakers can't even call her. They have to email her. She gets back to them. Oh, thanks for that. I'll get back to you soon. Here's her phone number. It's 207.
I don't know.
491.
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. How about this?
Message GH22. The number you have called is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and dial again. Message GH22.
she came to my office, and we called everywhere to find an eye doctor who was open, and no one would take her. They said blindness in one eye is not an emergency. And this is a true story from just a few weeks ago, and I have stories. Every day my office is open. And so we treated a hypertensive crisis, high blood pressure in someone who never had to take medicine because of this crisis. And then she came back the next day and she still couldn't see. And I called some more eye doctors from Bangalore to Presque Isle, and we found one who would take her. One who would take her, just one. And we sent her up there to Presque Isle. And what do you think happened when she arrived? They told her she crossed the county line and would have to quarantine for 14 days. 14 days in Augusta County before she could be seen. 14 days. And they called my office and brought me out of the exam room. And I said, this is insanity. Insanity. When does a doctor listen to administrators to tell us what's an emergency and who we can see? But it's going on. And so I bullied and I begged, and they took her in. And her vision did eventually recover, but her story needs to be told, and there are more. There are cancers that are not being treated right now that I biopsied in the office because they're not essential. Those people are not important, only COVID is. I have colleagues across the country that I talk to. They're seeing the same thing. Appendicitis gone gangrenous because they cannot be treated right now. Your hospitals are closed. Do you know that you're closed? You better hope you're not sick because they're only COVID is being treated. And this is real. It's very real. I am spending 80 to 100 hours a week working on the front lines. The real front lines, the front lines of primary care. We have 170 hospitalized with COVID. I see that in less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. And that's the whole epidemic. We are suffering. My patients are suffering. And the masks you're required to wear, they filter 1 to 2% of germs. 1 to 2%. Is that worth my patient going blind? Is that worth it? No, it's a lie. It's not science, it's lies. And we need to be heard. We need to be heard in these halls and in these domes. The real people, the people on the front lines, me and all my colleagues who don't dare to come out for fearing the hateful hordes of Facebook. But let me tell you something. To answer their claims that only people come out here who have a 6th grade education. I have 25 years of education, 20 years as a doctor. I think I know what I'm doing when I'm standing here without a mask. What about the child, the 7-year-old who came in with a dental abscess? Do you think that's an emergency? Her face was swollen, she had a fever. Do you think the governor's grandchild would have found care? Probably. Not my patient. So what did we do with no dental equipment? Took her in the back room and lanced that abscess. And we still couldn't find a dentist to pull that tooth for weeks. Weeks. So guess what, folks, in Aroostook County, I'm all you got in Aroostook. The hospitals are closing down. I take care of nurses who took $3 an hour pay cuts. They're working 2
signed it and gave her total control over this pandemic, how she sees fit, until she decides to stop it. That was signed over the last time they were in session. So she gave herself total control of 1.3 million people. It's ridiculous. Okay? It's ridiculous. She's got a new phone number. We're working on trying to get it. Guys, we had up to $100,000 committed this morning from a group that is going to sue the state of Maine. Taking our rights away. And at the same time, we're going to take and we're going to represent all the businesses in Maine that lost money, and it was all the small businesses. She didn't shut any big ones down. The Ironworks is still working. All the Maine Turnpike jobs are still going. All the Maine employees are still getting paid, right? So we started a GoFundMe page, and it's going to be used for people who are getting messed with the state with their permits. It's going to be used for food for restaurants when they need to open back up. It's going to be used for whatever we can use it for to make these businesses open back up. We got almost $70,000 in less than 24 hours. All small donations. I heard on the way down that Governor LePage is coming back to the state on Tuesday. And there's a re-election meeting that same day. And he is furious. He donated to the GoFundMe page. He worked 8 years to put us in a great position with a bunch of money sitting there. And these money grabbers couldn't keep away from it long enough. 2 months, it was gone. She's trying to bankrupt our state right now and make us look more broke than we've ever been so she can get federal money. That's why she don't want these businesses to open back up. She was told by her economic developer that her plan that she put out Tuesday would put out 25% of the businesses in the state of Maine would go out of business, and she still put the plan through. She did it anyway. The lawmakers found out about it when they saw the press release. There's campgrounds that bought all their food and everything ready to open May 1st. They can't afford to buy it again. This thing cannot go on much longer. There's a group of people from the Portland area, southern Maine, some wealthy people that got their money together, and they hired very good attorneys. They got the ear of Barr, Attorney General Barr. I think you might see this week that they might rescind her orders because they're unconstitutional. It's a power grab, you guys. I don't live like that. I lived in Maine my whole life except for the military. I love Maine. I got kids living in Bethel, Maine. I got kids living in Bethel, Maine. If we lose the summer business, we're going to lose a lot of money. On the coast, are you kidding me? If they don't get back to work, they don't get a paycheck for 18 months. 18 months. And who's for this person to tell you you can't go rent your hotel or you can't run your restaurant? I've had people calling me crying this morning. A guy over in Guilford started crying. I said, open your business. If they take your permits, who cares? You're going to be out of business. So he's opening up today. And I told him, Rangeley, Maine is open. Jackman opened up. The sporting camps up there opened up. Everybody needs to stick together, open up, and let the enforcement come to everybody at once. They can't do it. I opened up at 4 o'clock. I opened up at noontime. I told them 4, but I opened up at noon. Because I had hours to get over there. So we opened up, and they knew I was opening up at 4 o'clock. Well, yesterday, our great governor, right, helping us all survive, helping us live, she had all the heads of the commissioners in her office trying to find out how she could damage my restaurant. So they waited until 4:30 until they knew I was in violation. Then they came over and took my health license, took my liquor license. So we had to shut down because I got a federal license until Monday. I got to see if the feds are going to mess with me because I don't have the other licenses. So she's sitting in this Capitol building trying to be vendetta against people that pay them taxes. trying to do it to make it look like we're totally broken. She don't have to try any harder. We already are. You know, we gave all our money to the people sitting home, collecting welfare, and all these people from other states coming in and getting welfare the next day. So look at my hands. They're all ate up. I work myself to the bone. And then I have to see my money go to Augusta so I can give it to somebody sitting on a curb. It's ridiculous. We've been doing it for a long time, and it's time we stop.
What he was just saying is we have one governor sitting over there telling us what to do, and I think she might have forgotten that there's 1.3 million.
All right, Rick, so tell me, you know, we kind of heard your story a little bit. Where are things at today?
What happened yesterday, they came in and pulled all my permits, all my licenses, so I have no licenses right now to operate legal. So every day I operate, they were going to come in and give me more fines. So the more fines you get on your liquor license, the worse it looks. So then your insurance goes up. So now the insurance goes up when there's multiple violations. So we stopped until Monday. We're going to consult with the federal government on our TTB license, which is for brewing beer. Once we know we're not going to lose that license, we're going to open right back up. But we couldn't lose our federal license because it takes 6 months to get that.
So who was it who came after you?
It was the liquor commissioner and Health and Human Services through the permits for health department. So once the health department takes your health license, you lose your liquor license.
Yeah. So how did they go from before the COVID problem, you were fine, you have your license,
Never had any violation.
everything's fine, and now all of a sudden you talk on Tucker Carlson one night, the next day you're done.
Well, I opened up and I went against her order, so she came after me. She had them in her office yesterday trying to come up with ways to come up and shut us down and harm our business.
Do you know, like, how do you know that she was talking to people to get you shut down?
Because one of the commissioners told me they were in her office. Because I was wondering if the state police were going to arrest me. They said, no, we had a meeting this morning, blah, blah, blah. So I know they were meeting against it, how they could harm the state business.
So they singled you out because you took a stand against her.
Exactly.
Yeah. So can you just tell me about that? Like, how do they single you out?
Well, they knew I was going to open. I called her out on Fox News, so they knew I was going to open up, and we opened up. So they waited until 4:30 when I was in violation of the order, and then they came in and shut me down. So the longer I stayed, if I would have opened today, I would have got violation after violation. I would have got 3 a day. So you take 6 or 7 violations to get your liquor license, you can be $5,000 or $6,000 more a year just on your licenses for your liability. Because, you know, where we have a clean license right now, we didn't want to hurt our brewery license, so we decided as a business, I got a brother that's part owner, so the two of us decided to wait until Monday and see what the federal government said and then try to open back up.
What do you think this says about the people in Maine who has a governor who attacks the people who are trying to make a living?
They've been doing that all along, you guys. All they want is tax money. They make it so hard to run a business. I think of around 35 to 40 permits to run the brew pub. When you take the liquor that's involved, all that stuff, more money, it's so many permits involved just to run that one business.
How much money have you lost, and will you be able to recover from this?
We lost between $650,000 and $700,000 in revenue coming in, and we're not in bad shape. We had money in a reserve account, so it's not about me opening up. I have 5 other companies with my brother, and we're fine, but it's my employees, and it's also the other businesses in Maine. We were ready to open up May 1st, and May 1st came, and people were buying groceries, and then she's like 3 days before that, no, come up with this Caucasian idea, it just don't work, you know?
Taking a stand.
Yeah, so we said enough is enough. I had a connection with Tucker Carlson, so I called him and I said, I got to get
say there's 1 in 7 Mainers are unemployed at this point. Now, it took not even 24 hours. They're having a difficult time rolling out unemployment benefits.
Oh, yes.
Took them not even 24 hours to get down to your place to cause you some problems. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, I've had employees. I got 65 employees at Sunday River Brewing Company. We've been out for, what, 7, 8 weeks now? We got some that still don't have unemployment. We've had to call lawmakers up to see if they could help them. You know, these people are sitting there making all these policies, and they don't even say, okay, look, we're going to have all these claims coming in. Let's put a bunch of people. The first 2 weeks, you can only call up until 12:30 in the afternoon. And then they shouted, oh, geez, we got a problem. You know, then they figured it out later, but they're still not on board with it. They don't have the capability to run this state, some of these people. And that's the truth. You know, if you go and know all these people are going on unemployment, and now you got all these state workers working, and you got all these extra people, move them into this division and start answering the telephone calls from your constituents. Move them over and start taking their phone calls. You can't even call. I've got 2 people that still don't have anything since this thing started. I'm giving loans out if they need it. You know? So it's ridiculous, and we need to stop it. We're going to push for President Trump to override her, because in our Constitution, it says that he can override her when there's this type of situation. So
We need to reopen Maine right there.
yes, you guys, that website's going crazy because people all over the country are sick of what's going on, especially in Maine. You know, we're getting donations from all over the place, and it's, you know, we're taking it from other businesses. You know, I wasn't in fear of going out of business in my restaurant, but I still wanted to open up. I can't lose the summer business. If we don't get opened up in the next week or two, we're all done for the summer.
I got one more question. The left's narrative right now, the governor's narrative, is the reason that we're not opening up. It's all about vulnerability. So for those of us that want to open the state, those of us that are working, us commoners, they've called us, the narrative from the leftist rags like the Maine Beacon is that we're a bunch of greedy SOBs. Can you speak to that?
I've been getting deference. I've been having phone calls from the owner. I've been getting all that stuff. You know, it's ridiculous that they're going this route. Of 9 out of the 16 counties, there's only 20 or less cases. There's only 1 in 1 county, and they got it shut right down. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, you can't, anything they say, you can't even listen to. The numbers aren't true. None of that's true. You know, none of the numbers are true, because they get 20% more if it's a COVID patient. So we've been told a bunch of lies for the last 2 months, and it's enough. Enough is enough.
God bless you, man. Thanks for your time.
Yes.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Send lawyers, guns, and money.